Why did I love it so much? And I think I loved it because of the versatility that's in it. This is a complicated man. He doesn't just go from bad to good or good to bad or bad to good to bad. You know, he loves his wife, he loves his family, but he also has this commitment to his uncle and who's into evil things. And you know, on the outset, he seems like a simple man, but you bring so much complexity to him. And just talk about finding that complexity in Ernest.
Thank you. I said this the other day, but he's kind of like an unreliable protagonist. You know what I mean? He doesn't even trust himself, and you can't trust him to make the right decision. He's not a hero by any stretch of the imagination, but in the research very early on, I was struggling with, I read a lot of his testimony and his handwritten letters, and you know, by the sheer actions of how easily he was manipulated by Hale, I started to think of him almost like a sort of Lenny of Mice and Men type of character. I'm like, how slow could this guy possibly be? And even when he's writing Molly, I mean, he can't form a sentence. He's so easily swayed from, you know, his lawyer's team back to the devotion that he's supposed to have to his wife and his family, and he's just this manipulated individual. And so I was struggling with how far to push that, but I realized that, you know, there's obviously something incredibly conscious about what he was doing. He was playing both sides of the fence, and he was doing one of the most horrific things I could ever imagine a character doing to the person that, you know, he allegedly loved. And you know, there's, you know, we could talk about what love means, but you know, every person and every relative, and even people from the Osage community that I spoke to, they insisted that this was a real love story, that there was a connection between these two people. They continued to see each other even afterwards, even after the trial, but they had this this bizarre dynamic which was unlike anything I'd ever seen in cinema history. So when we were developing the script, I said, when has this been done before? And I got to go see a lot of Montgomery Clift's work in A Place in the Sun. I was like, wow, this narrative has been done before. The corrosion of the American dream, the lust for wealth, and what you will sacrifice and the depths you will go to in order to achieve that. That became very inspiring. Then we got to see Montgomery Clift in The Heiress, and that helped with the narrative of our relationship as well. And then Red River with John Wayne to talk about the dynamic between Hale and Ernest. So all that helped feed us into trying to tell this story and what this character ultimately was.
Lily, talk about finding